All right. Welcome back to the show. It is February 1st. January blew by. I can't believe it. It was Christmas. It was New Year's. And now it's in February, and people finally are starting to fix those mistakes. No more 2023s. It's 2024. It's time to go. Let's go live today. We got a lot to talk about on the hit list. As you see, Russell Wilson, the Chief haters, Lamar Jackson, Tom Brady, Colorado with Deion Sanders, Steph Curry, the three-point shootout with Sabrina Ionescu. Caitlin Clark has moved up to second points leader of all time in Iowa. And we have a quote for you at the end, as we will every day moving forward. So let's go right to the show right now. Let's dive in and let's talk about Russell Wilson. If I'm in Russell Wilson's shoes, okay, first of all, I'm happy because I really don't have to do much at this point, right? Like everybody already knows that, well, they didn't want me here apparently. Right? They didn't want me here because if they did, they wouldn't say, hey, we're going to bench you if you don't fix your contract. And let me tell you something. People that are playing football right now, whether you're in high school, college, or the NFL at this point, any kind of pro level, when a coach benches you based on your contract, it's a massive slap in the face. So you're on the bench right now watching the backup because they believed, hey, you didn't produce what we wanted you to do. You're not kind of panning out what we want. So now you're on the bench. So what do you do now? He says, oh, well, if you want to come back next year, you can. Come on now. No one in the world in any way, shape, or form is going to be like, oh, yeah, I'm excited to come back and play for your organization. You as my coach, looking around the team, the locker room, you realize you're no longer wanted there, right? So Russell Wilson obviously goes to Denver, and it's Broncos, let's ride. Broncos, let's ride. He's all in, right? Leaves the Seahawks. Gets there, a little bit of a roller coaster ride up and down, but finally turns it on. Russell Wilson starts playing good football. And they say, hey, you know what? That time's over, and we're going to have to bench you, so now we have to make different decisions. His agent is calling around. People are talking. The buzz is in the air. And if you watch his show from weeks ago, I mentioned this, as you'll see right here. Will Russell Wilson play for the Pittsburgh Steelers? That's a question right now people are talking about, and I've been saying this for weeks. Go back and look if you like. Russell Wilson fits the mold. Why? Because the Pittsburgh Steelers do not have a long-term solution. We've said that a lot. They have no long-term solution there. Kenny Pickett is their only guy. It doesn't seem like that's going to work out. What kind of player can they get? Are they going to spend a lot of money on another draft pick? They've done that in Kenny Pickett. That didn't work. The next opportunity really is to say, let me find a veteran. Let me find someone that's been there, done that, has had success, is a leader, can show up and play football right now. Being that he played in Denver, he played in the cold. That's not a problem. Pittsburgh's cold. So his experience, obviously playing for the Seahawks and then playing for the Broncos, and now it opens up and says, hey, you want to come play in Pittsburgh? And people are talking about it. The buzz is real. And people are like, well, why would he go there? Because he fits the mold. They need a quarterback. He needs a new team. That's why. And if you ask me, if I was playing for the Broncos and I was out there and they said, hey, we're going to bench you and because we're restructuring your contract because you didn't do what we thought, that's not a happy marriage. So at this point, Russell Wilson better start packing his bags, start looking around, and his agent better start calling some teams, and whether it's going to be Pittsburgh or not, he can't be there much longer. And I got to tell you, as he shows up, with his wife and his family, and walks around that locker room and goes onto the field, instead of Broncos, let's ride, it's more like Broncos, let's roll. That's kind of what we're looking at right now. Broncos, let's ride has turned into Broncos, let's roll, and Russell Wilson's going to be out of there. But let's move on to the Kansas City Chief haters. Listen, a lot of people now are like, they shouldn't be there. And there's all the conspiracy theories of, well, I don't know. I don't think he should be there. I don't think that they should be in the Super Bowl and they don't deserve to be there and yada, yada. At the end of the day, the Chiefs turn it on for the playoffs. That's what they do. So all these people that are hating on the Chiefs don't want them to be there. Look, I get it. I get it completely. Let's see somebody else in the Super Bowl. Let's see, Lamar Jackson, which we'll talk about in a second. Let's see Josh Allen. Let's see somebody else from the AFC, make a stint and get to the Super Bowl. But we can't just be like, well, we're going to pass on the best team. And yeah, they played throughout the season. Listen, the roller coaster ride that the Chiefs had with no identity through the season, Kelce was sluggish, didn't catch many passes, wasn't playing that well. Patrick Mahomes wasn't really on his game that much. They had no receiver. They had no talented receiver to complement the run game, to let Pacheco get off in his runs, then run play action, get outside the box and make plays. They didn't have that all year. So for people to go back and say, oh, they don't deserve to be there, at the end of the day, they turned it on for the playoffs. And all those haters that are like, I'm so sick and tired of seeing Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Andy Reid, and now Taylor Swift. So all the Swifties in the house are going to be there, and people are upset. But at the end of the day, why would you be so upset about it? Why would you be so upset about it? They're winning football games. If you want to be in there, like people like the Eagles, Jalen Hurts, you had an opportunity. You fell off the boat. The Dallas Cowboys, you had an opportunity. You fell off the boat, and that's in the NFC. But you go to AFC, which we're going to talk about right now, Lamar Jackson, you had your chance. And Odell Beckham is saying here on this reporting cast, he also said, look, I told Lamar Jackson to run the football. I told him to run the football. Because if he gets outside the box, Lamar Jackson can run like a deer for first downs and for touchdowns, and he didn't do that. This is what I remember of Lamar Jackson. Running, jumping over people, making plays. If he's not going to do that, and listen, I'm not saying he didn't do it at all. Lamar Jackson ran for first downs. Lamar Jackson did his thing as a quarterback. Any other quarterback in the National Football League that would have done what Lamar Jackson did would have been praising him. Wow, great. Running, throwing, making plays, scrambling, breaking tackles. I mean, he is doing all that. He was doing all that, and he did it against the Chiefs. But this is the memory that I have of him. Running, jumping over people. This is your superb athlete. He's not a pocket passer. Yes, he can throw the ball. I'm not saying he can't throw the ball. But what I'm saying, and exactly what Odell Beckham Jr. was saying, run the ball. You're back in shotgun. You get back your play action. If you see a lane, take it. Why are you going to sit back and let the Chiefs make plays when you're the MVP? You're the quote-unquote best player in the National Football League. And Odell Beckham Jr. didn't do barely shit in the game either. So, he probably shouldn't be saying much either. Odell Beckham Jr. was a star when he played with the Giants. And then he went to the Rams and he had some great plays. I wouldn't call him a star, but he was a star for the Giants. At the Rams, fell off, had some injuries, yada, yada, yada. Then he gets to the Ravens. During the season, he made some highlights when he needed to. They made it happen. But during this game, the AFC Championship game, Odell Beckham Jr. was covered like a blanket, gotten almost 0 targets. I think he caught like 2 passes. It was like, here's a target, here's a target. Okay, you're in an AFC Championship game. You are supposed to be a superstar. You're a non-factor. Being that you were a non-factor and then Lamar Jackson wasn't running, that's why you lost. All season long, Lamar Jackson was running with his legs, making plays, and he just couldn't run fast enough or far enough to get past the Chiefs. And that's why they're at home. Love Lamar Jackson, excellent player. He will get the MVP, but he's at home watching because he didn't make those plays in the AFC Championship game. Now, let's move on to Tom Brady and why this is significant today. Because Tom Brady now, okay, you've seen him as a warrior on the field, making plays, doing his thing. But here's what's next for Tom Brady, okay? Obviously, people know that he was a warrior and he's the GOAT. And we had this debate, and he's still better, than Patrick Mahomes at this point. And 1 second, I'm going to pull another photo up for you. He's still better than Patrick Mahomes. Made this clear yesterday. Why? Because he's 46 years old, put a lot of effort into the National Football League, was there forever, had so many passing yards, did a whole bunch of things. Patrick Mahomes could potentially pass Tom Brady in his future, but just not so fast. But where is Tom Brady going with this? Let's pull it up, Howard. Tom Brady now is taking the handle, okay, just so you guys know, on Fox Sports as the #1 analyst on the cast, okay? So, as he takes over #1, the #1 guy goes to #2. Tom Brady is making a large amount of money. And he got this contract, just so you guys know, in 2022. In 2023, he was supposed to start, but they said, look, are you going to go back and play football again or not? And I got it right here to read to you right off my little script here. It says here that he will go to number 1, and then Greg Olsen will go to number 2, and Tom Brady has a 10-year contract, $375 million. The only reason why he didn't take that this season was because he was unsure if he was going to play again. Tom Brady will get up there and he will give all the analyst reports, and he has a lot more information than most people, being in the huddle, being in the National Football League forever. But here's the question. Tom Brady, we're asking you, I think the world is asking you, listen, I love Peyton Manning, I love Eli Manning, but please do not get on there and be boring like these guys. These are the two of the, listen, Peyton Manning is arguably one of the best of all time, top 3. Most people's top 2, top 3, top 4. Eli Manning, probably a little further in the ranks, right? 9, 10, 11, 12, somewhere around there. Some people a little higher, a little lower. But Tom Brady, please God, for the life of TV, do not get on there and being as boring as these guys. They're great. They were awesome players. But if you listen to them on TV, if you're watching Monday Night Football, and you have Peyton and Eli on the side as your analysts and like, wow, look at that pass. Wow, look at that throw. Okay, what I would have did on that play. What? Listen, okay. Love them, boring as shit. I hope Tom Brady comes back, jumps on TV and he goes, welcome back to the show. Let's go. I'm Tom Brady. I'm your host. I'm ready to crush it. Let's watch football. I hope he brings that energy. And I'm not saying he has to keep the tempo up. Bam, bam, bam. But that tempo can't be your Eli Manning and your Peyton Manning, because these brothers have made a lot of money and done great, but God, they are boring as shit. But let's move on to another piece of the pie, okay? And we're going to talk about Colorado for a little bit. And guys, if you're just getting on here, welcome. Candy, good morning. Dex, good morning. Howard, good morning. Anybody else that's watching this, listen, if you're watching this right now, comment in the chat. Don't be scared to comment. I love when you do, because I can comment and I can talk back to you live as I'm doing this, as people start coming in to the live. So let's move on right now to Colorado and why this is important. So Deion Sanders, as you know, is building this entire platform, okay? So yes, he has recruits jumping in the portal, go team the team. It's like Deion Sanders is the man, because he shows up, he can barely walk, he's getting toes cut off, amputated. Like, oh, we're going to amputate your foot now? I mean, that's also interesting, right? So it's like he shows up, he's kind of like in a walker thing. He's moving along, and it's like Deion Sanders was prime time. He was that guy in football. He went to Jackson State, coach, made them elite, gets to Colorado, brings all these recruits, and last year they started off great and they got crushed in the end. They just weren't ready yet. So let's tell you this. Let's look at the schedule they got now. If you can pull it up, Howard. I hope I can read the damn thing. All right. So let's just say this. North Dakota State, Nebraska, right? These are some of the people they have on their schedule. And you can look at this right now and you can see who they're playing. I got to tell you, here's my predictions for Colorado right now. I don't see a team that can beat them on here. Will Cincinnati grow this season? Possibly. With some recruits, they kind of show up and they have a tough team here and there. Baylor, will they be able to throw the ball and move around? Kansas, I don't know. Look, this is a schedule that Deion Sanders could possibly go undefeated. And listen, it's not because he tried to book it easy. Last season, he put some tough teams on the schedule. People are going to say, well, he didn't pack his schedule this year. He didn't do what he could have did to make it more challenging. The first year Deion Sanders, and look, I'm not advocating for Deion. I'm not here. I'm not got paid by Deion. I'm not getting paid by Colorado. I'm telling you the truth. Deion Sanders got to Colorado and said, bring the heat. And he went up there and said, we're going to win. He didn't go up there and say, well, I'm just rebuilding. He said, I'm going to win. I'm going to now. Give me some players. Give me some money from the collectives. I want to get some people on here. You're watching this, you're in the chat, or right here, there's 10 people watching right now. Comment where you at. Just put your city in the chat if you could, so I know where the hell you're based at. At the end of the day, Deion Sanders was not scared. Deion Sanders brought players in, and now all the collectives and all the money that he's trying to get from all the university, alumni and all that is pretty crazy, right? It's like, hey, I need more money, I need a quarterback. Or, hey, I need more money, I need a receiver. I need this, I need a defensive lineman, I need a linebacker. That's kind of the operation is working right now in college football. And Deion Sanders is using that to the best of his ability. So, the hard part about watching Deion Sanders, you can pull the picture up of Deion back, Howard. The hard part of watching Deion is like, I want this man to win. I want this man to go crazy. I want this man to get out there and break records and watch this and become the guy. And then you have a lot of haters that left Deion Sanders. Why? Because he came in, he was talking smack like, hey, look, there's going to be a lot of changes here. If you're not good, get the hell out. If you don't want to win, get the hell out. So there was parents of these players that were like, well, my kid just started there. Well, not anymore. Because Deion Sanders is bringing his crew in. So it's like, do you love him? Do you hate him? That's the question that people have. Do you love Deion Sanders? Do you hate Deion Sanders? Right? That's like the question right now. But listen, I got to tell you, I think that they're well prepared. I think they're going to bring in players this year even more. In the offseason, they're going to be training. They have all the media hype, all the people. They all want to go there to get paid more money through NIL. Their schedule is not as challenging as it was last season. And I think this year, Deion Sanders could jump out the box and possibly go undefeated. He goes undefeated, you could potentially see Deion Sanders, well, obviously in the playoffs, they're going to 12-team series this year, which is great. Instead of having 4 teams and people like Florida State all pissed off. So let's move on to Steph Curry. Now, Steph Curry was not selected in the NBA All-Star game this year, which is very interesting. And I said this a few days ago. You don't have to watch Steph Curry all season. Still picking Steph Curry on my All-Star team. Why? Because he's the best shooter of all time. I mean, listen. You look at it and go, okay, this year, this guy scored this many points. This year, this guy scored this many points. Stephen Curry's on my team. It's a lottery pick. You don't got to worry about it. He shoots from half court, shoots from the foul line, shoots from full court, shoots from the stands before the game. He's shooting from all over the place. He's putting on a show. People are in their seats before the game because they want to see Steph Curry shooting practice shots. I mean, I saw LeBron James and a few other teams, a couple players dunking before games. There's a little show they put on beforehand. But Steph Curry has butts in seats before the game starts because he's shooting shots from all over the court. And people are like, okay, yeah, well, why is it in the All-Star game? Well, that's because they had to go by what they thought this season or what they saw and not really who is the all-time shooter, the best shooter of all time. So what's Steph Curry doing? Well, Steph Curry, this is good for all the girls watching right now. We can put a little poll here. So we're going to put Steph Curry versus Sabrina Ionescu. Now, listen, don't mess her name up because people will really get pissed off. So we're going to put Steph Curry versus Sabrina Ionescu. So I'm going to have on here so you can select here. Let's see. Here we go. Poll. Bang. Now, if you're watching this right now, okay, you're in the live. I'm going to slow this down for a second instead of rushing through this part. Steph Curry is going against a woman in the three-point shootout. Now, it's not a one-on-one. They're not dribbling versus each other. You're not going to see Steph Curry shooting over Sabrina Ionescu. It's going to be a three-point shootout. So put on the side there, who do you have? And if you're a guy in the chat or a woman in the chat right now, select the player of choice. You think the girl's going to win? Listen, she's an all-time shooter. She's amazing. The girl can shoot everywhere too. So if you're watching this right now, here's your chance to select male or female. I know a lot of people are like, girls have a lot of rights, a lot of say-so, and the girls are talented. The girls are getting deals, Sabrina Ionescu, getting shoe deals, a lot like, how Stephen Curry, not going to go to Michael Jordan, but we're going to go to a lot of other players. The girls are picking up the momentum. They're doing big things. So I want to know what you guys think. And we have another picture right here. How do you pull it up? Here's what it looks like, the three-point shootout. Right behind this, bang. Here you go, Steph Curry or Sabrina Ionescu. Who do you got? The poll's on the side right there. Pick your player. Curry or Ionescu. And I got to tell you right now, regardless of how you spin it, I don't care what way you spin it, I'm going with Steph Curry. Because if you don't bet on Steph Curry in any kind of shooting, you really lost your mind. So that's where I'm going with that. But yeah, guys, to finish this topic and understand what's going on here, Steph Curry versus Sabrina Ionescu, 3-point shootout. It'll be great. You got to have a male and a female. And I think she called him out, and he goes, let's go. Let's go. So let's move on right now, because we want to talk about, because even though, speaking of Sabrina Ionescu and a girl shooter, let's talk about Caitlin Clark, who now just moved up the rankings to number 2 all-time scoring. Now, this is significant because she was number 5, then she was number 4, then she was number 3, and then she got hit on the court by a fan. Was obliterated on the court. People were like, whoa, what the hell happened to Caitlin Clark? She got ran over. And she came off the court with a bunch of help, right? She got knocked on the court, had to get picked off the court, carried through, and people were like, oh, she did it on purpose. Caitlin Clark didn't do it on purpose. She got ran over by a fan rushing the court, who now they have a whole bunch of conversations about, well, fans can't rush the court, and that shouldn't happen, yada, yada, yada. At the end of the day, Caitlin Clark is fine. She is now 2nd all-time on the list. So people should be excited about that. I know I was excited about that, putting her on the map. But the question is, how much money will she make at Iowa versus how much money will she make in the WNBA? Because right now, as you know, collectives and people in college sports are paying a lot of money. And the WNBA, yeah, it's growing, but not like NIL money. These guys are getting paid. And let me tell you something, Iowa collectives, I don't know what they're doing, but not to hate on them, but I'd wake up and smell the coffee, because Caitlin Clark is your ticket to a lot of new recruits, a lot of new marketing deals, a lot of cool stuff. They should be taking care of Caitlin Clark. She's putting them more on the map, and now women obviously as well. But let's move on. We have another interesting change we have to our show now, as every single day, instead of getting on here and having another topic here, we will have a quote for you. So here's your quote of the day. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's a part of success. And I'll read that again for you guys watching this. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's a part of success. And what does that mean? Obviously, people go, well, you either failed or you succeeded, or you win, you lost, whatever. Kind of like up and down, left and right, for all you guys that are watching are confused. At the end of the day, in order to be successful, and exactly what we're doing here on the show, you have to build. You're going to have your bumps in the road. You're going to have your wins and losses. You're going to fail at certain things, but you're not going to quit. So therefore, you can succeed. In order to get better at anything you're doing right now, whether it's sports, or if you're sitting at home and you got a job, you got a career, you're doing something you're trying to build, or you got a family and it's tough. Listen, every day is a day to get a step in the right direction. A lot of people are like, well, I got a lot going on. To make up all the excuses you can. I'm with you. I'm right with you. I think in my mind, every day I wake up, there's like 50,000 excuses. I think, well, I don't feel good today. My neighbor had COVID. I had a friend that had COVID, or family had COVID, or man, outside it got cold and I went outside, I got errands to run. I got to go grocery shopping. My wife there's so many things that happen. And what I'm telling you today, again, as I always do, I appreciate all of you watching my show. I appreciate you guys as I expand the show. It means a lot to me. But as far as the quote goes, one last time before we get off a little early today, failure is not the opposite of success. It's a part of success. So as you continue on your journey, remember, as bumps in the road come, keep fighting, keep moving forward, and success will come if you are consistent at what you do and continue learning. Guys, I appreciate you watching the show today. We went through our whole entire list. We'll bump it right back up. You can see we went all the way down. We had a great day today. Russell Wilson all the way down to a quote that I will do every single day live for you. We will be on here every day, 10 to 11. Today, we're getting off a little bit early. A lot going on in the chapter as we expand the studio and network. Again, I appreciate all of you watching. As people come in after, if you watch it after the live, I still appreciate you. Thank you. And remember, you can join, you can subscribe, and you can join the Mason Mob now as we move forward. There's an opportunity to jump on here. As you join the Mason Mob, you will get a verification badge next to your name. When you comment, you pop up first, and I can communicate really quick with you. Thank you all for watching. I will see you tomorrow on Friday as we go in and we talk about a couple important things. The Super Bowl, right? Super important. We got the Super Bowl coming on, and I got another couple things to show you too as well. But let me tell you something. The Chiefs and the 49ers are very interesting. We're going to talk about tomorrow. We got Patrick Mahomes. We got Brock Purdy. Thanks for watching. Until next time.